So hello YouTube friends.
Hello YouTube friends.
Hello YouTube friends. Hello YouTube friends. Hello YouTube friends. Hello YouTube friends. This is New Year's Eve, and I'll tell you a joke that my dad has told me since I was a little girl. I met a man today with as many noses as there are days in the year. Well, when I was a little girl, that used to tickle me. Of course, it's only got one day, hasn't it? And now it just makes me smile to remember him telling me that when I was little. I'm home now, obviously. This week between Christmas and New Year, last time I spoke to you was on the 23rd of December when I was staying down at my dad's in my brother's house. And yeah, everything went well. Had a very, very nice Christmas. I'm going to put some pictures in here somewhere of baby Agnes on her beautiful blanket that I managed to finish quilting. Martha made it. I quilted it for her. I put the binding on, all of that. And she now, they have it on the floor and she now lies on it and kicks her legs about and she looks great. But also, one of the Christmas Advent makes was Agnes's Christmas stocking. And I had hoped to do a little video about filling the Christmas stocking, and I just simply ran out of time, guys. I ran out of time. It wasn't possible to do all the things that I had in my head. There were 2 or 3 videos that I didn't manage to make, but you know, stuff happens, doesn't it? However, I'm going to put some pictures in here of the little things that I put into Agnes's Christmas stocking. I mean, come on, she was 11 weeks old. So it really, her Christmas stocking was for everybody else, wasn't it? And so there's a company that makes, I think it's Austrian or German. It's called Myriad anyway. And maybe I'll leave a link in the description below of the little wooden animals that we're going to get and, you know, build up into a set for her for when she's older to play with farm animals or woodland animals or whatever. And so with that in mind, I started off her collection with a little cat like Sadie, a little hen like one of my hens, and a big cow. The cow was very big, wouldn't fit in the Christmas stocking, but that's okay. And then also I knitted her a sheep. Now, it was a pattern I got off the internet. I'll try and find it because it was really lovely pattern. The sheep was very, very textured. And also I made it in green wool. Some of Lindsay's amazing acid dyed wool, so she's got a green sheep. What else did I put in there? I put a chocolate teddy bear in there so that Martha could eat that and she would get it as milk later that day. And then also I knitted her some socks in this gorgeous yarn. In this gorgeous alpaca yarn. It's beautifully soft, and I made 2 pairs of socks, a yellow pair and a mottly grey pair of alpaca socks for, is the grey in there? No. It's from a company called Wool and the Gang. I really like their packaging. I know packaging's not, you know, it's not very PC, but there's no plastic in it. It's all lovely paper and cardboard, and I like their packaging very much. So that was what was in Agnes's Christmas stocking. Was there anything else? No. I guess in future years when she's paying attention, then the stocking, when she's a bit older, then the stocking will be filled full of all sorts of lovely things. So I got home from my dad's on Christmas Eve, and on Christmas morning, we, all the UK dwelling kids and I, went to baby Agnes's house, and we had the most wonderful breakfast, and it was an absolutely lovely, gentle Christmas. I really, really enjoyed it. So that was great. Whew. I'm up on the top of the hill. I tried to do a bit of filming on the way up. I've got my fairy mic thing, so this might not work because it's not windy here. I've tried to find a nice little sheltered spot next to a dry stone wall, and I've got my Hercules candy tote bag with me because that was the first bag that came to my hand as I was walking out of the door. And I made a cup of rooibos tea in this thermal cup. And it's the perfect temperature. It just felt like I was sitting indoors on the last day of the year. I found a piece of Pink Lane Bakery tiffin that I didn't know I had left, so I brought that up with me as well. Give me a bit of energy. I'll have that in a minute. I was sitting inside knitting, and all of this was going on outside. And I thought, before I settle down and do all the things I want to do today, which is a very long list, I thought I'll climb to the top of Herbie's Hill and walk across the fells for a bit until I can find a nice sheltered spot to sit down and chat with you guys. It is actually pretty sheltered. I think I could risk taking my hat off. Yeah, that's pretty good. I've walked up the hill. I put some pictures in here of the lake and the house from the top of the hill. And then I've walked along, all the way along the top of the hill. There's a dry stone wall because there's all sheep and so on up here. But it is just unkept moorland. And I've walked along and along and along and along, all the way along, until I've got to a bit where it's actually parallel to another road, and I don't want to hit a road. You can just hear the road in the background, although it does feel like I'm in the middle of nowhere. I love it. So then I'm going to cast off down this hill here, and I'm at the top of the hill now, so I'll walk all the way down the hill along the bottom of the fell there where it meets the woods down there, all the way along back through the gate and home. Be about an hour, I guess. It seemed like a good idea to get out into the sunshine and do a bit of walking before the year ends. So that's what I'm doing. And it feels like it might be quiet enough, windy wise, to be able to have a bit of a chat with you up here. Maybe. I like going for walks on my own because I'm not very fast. And I never like to think that I'm holding anybody back. If they're all striding on ahead of me, they have to sort of stand by the gate and wait for me. Because I like to go at my own pace, which is quite slow. That's all right. That's very slow, actually. But that's okay. You see more that way. It's such an amazing day. Amazing day. I'll show you the view in a minute. I'm just going to drink my tea, though. It's just the perfect temperature. Oh, that was good. I've got some water as well. It's not good to get thirsty on a walk, is it? Yeah, I didn't know I had any of this left. I was looking for something to bring with me. I found a few little pieces of this left. I thought we'd eaten it all at Christmas. Must have put some away for today. So I'll show you the view in a second. Over there, you can see all the way along to Hadrian's Wall. And it's not a sparklingly clear day. It's pretty clear. But if it was even clearer, you would be able to see that that's actually the hills of Scotland. Really far in the north there. That's how close I am to Scotland. I'd only have to drive for about an hour, hour and a half, and I'd be in Scotland. I'm going to head back down now. I won't wobble the camera all the way down the hill for you. I'll just stop every now and then and show you some little bits. I do hate the wobble cam. I've stopped here to talk to you for a little while. I'm going to risk it. The wind's dropped and I've got my furry mic on, so I think this might work. But you can see, I'm going to risk putting my finger in front of the camera somewhere. There's the lake, look, over there. And so my house is just tucked in down there. But I want to talk about this little bit of woodland here. And so I came this way. I see it from the road all the time, of course, and I always glance up and have a look at it. But I wanted to see how it was going from close up. Now, you can see, can't you, that there are a few tree guards with, 1 or 2 year old trees in them, maybe 5 or 6 year old trees. This woodland here is in a very steep valley, sort of like a valley, I suppose. And there's a quarry. It's a big quarry down there. And when I first moved here, there were very mature trees here. And about 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 years ago, all those trees were felled. And people were, oh no, they've chopped down black clough. And everyone was upset. But then, pragmatically, what you've got to remember is that trees are just a crop. They just take a lot longer to mature than 1 year for a crop of wheat, say, because it's a quarry. It was a quarry. And the stone from this quarry was what built my house, the big farmhouse and all the farm buildings 250 years ago. And then the land, once the houses were built and the quarry was exhausted, the place was planted up with trees, which were then felled, as I say. But they replanted it. And it's now, they're really starting to grow back absolutely beautifully. So there isn't a pathway through it, but I'm going to climb over the wall here. Let me show you this wall. These walls are awesome. These walls have been, probably the quarry, I'll have to turn the camera around. The stone for these would have been from the quarry. They're 200 years old as well. They're unbelievably awesome dry stone walls. Really, really, really extremely awesome. Hi. Because there's no mortar or cement or anything holding them together. What holds them together is the skill of the people who made them, placing just the right stone with the right stone. Putting those, can you see in the middle there's that sort of extra run that sticks out a bit, which is a stabilising run of stones, and then there'll be some capping stones on the top. Those are the ones, those are the casualties, those are the ones that go first, because people do what I'm about to do and climb over them. Maybe I won't climb over, or maybe I'll go and find a gate. There'll be a gate up there somewhere. I've crossed over the road now, and you can see maybe the plantation I was talking about behind me. I crossed over the road and over this gate, through this gate, and now I'm going to walk along this broad green path here, which actually is the track of the old railway line. There was a railway that ran through here. In the 60s, I think it was closed down. And this railway line ran right past the farm where I live onto the station. I think I've been there once before with you. But anyway, I'm going to walk. I'm parallel to the road, so the road's a bit noisy, but it's a lovely track. It is on a sort of like a bank, and this is the railway line, or was. It'll bring me into the farm buildings and then round to the back of the house. in 2019, lots and lots of people have visited the shop, which I'll leave again in the link in the description below, and bought some of the things that are in there. There's not a lot in the shop, which is one of the things that I want to concentrate on getting changing in 2020. However, for January, I have put 3 of the items that are in there on sale. And so the calendar now, because, you know, January will start tomorrow. I've reduced that a little bit. That's on sale now. The lavender bags, there aren't many lavender bags left. And so I thought, well, I'll have a bit of a clear out of the lavender bags. And we'll start again in February with something new in there. So they're on sale. Plus, all the greetings cards that I make. I'm going to risk knitting again now. See if she lets me. All the greetings cards that I make there, I've done a little special offer bundle. Now you see, this is what happens if I don't wait until she's completely settled. It's worth waiting another minute, because if she settles right down there on this knee that I've made her, then my knitting won't disturb her. Because we can't have Norma disturbed, can we? No. So what was I saying? Pop across to the shop. There's 3 things I've put in the January sales, and they'll just be for January. There's a bundle of greetings cards, which is a big saving if you buy the bundle. And the... Please lie down. I'll happily have you on my knee, but I can't knit if you're going to stand there. Just wait a minute longer. She'll settle. There she goes. She's very old. She'll be 19 in 2020. In the summer of 2020, she'll be 19. Right, let's risk it, guys. Now, what have I been doing? So I've been working away on the computer, in the doing physical things, and so on. I can't even remember what day. I got all muddled with what days things are. Let's just say 2 days ago, Sunday. So on Sunday, I'm sitting there working away, and I've been tapping away at the computer and doing various, you know, channel related things all day. And I thought, hang on a minute, I'm needing a bit of a break. So I checked the times on the computer of the cinema, and I went to see Little Women. I drove about an hour to the big multiplex, which is horrible, but once you're sitting in a seat, it doesn't matter where you are, does it? And I went to see Little Women, the new Little Women, that is Greta Gerwig, who has adapted and directed it. And I'm not going to give you any spoilers at all in case you haven't seen it. None. But I really liked it. Anna and I, she came the next day, and we had quite a chat about it. We had a few little disagreements, but that's all right. I think it's all right to disagree about stuff like that. Everyone has an opinion. It's just my opinion. But I will say that Jo, Saoirse Ronan, brilliant. She was an absolutely brilliant Jo. In fact, the part was written for her, really. So I loved it. I really did like it. It was what I'll say, no spoilers, as I say, but what I will say about it is that the structure of it, I found it quite surprising. I thought, oh, why are we starting here? I promise I won't do any spoilers. I thought, oh, that's weird. We're starting here. But then the way that it's written, it works really, really well. And there were some fantastic characters in there. I thought that Jo was brilliant, and Laurie was brilliant as well. I can't pronounce his name. Timothy, somebody beginning with C, who was in an amazing film called The King, which is on Netflix, which John put me on to watching. It's a bit brutal because it's all about sort of battles and things, but the bits that aren't battles were really, 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 really good. I enjoyed it. So that was a little bit of TV and film watching. I still haven't seen Star Wars, which is something we have to remedy. Maybe tonight. I have to see Star Wars. I haven't seen it yet. And that's That's a shame, because usually I see these things as soon as they come out. And usually, ever since John was a little boy, I've taken him to see Star Wars. But now that he's in his 30s, he can take himself, can't he? So he's seen it already and I haven't. So that's a shame. I'll see it though, don't worry. I do like movies. Well, Norma's settled down beautifully now, so I'm going to carry on and do a bit more knitting. And I'm going to wish you all a very, very happy new year. There's some really interesting things in the pipeline for 2020. Anna, who helped me edit most of the Advent videos really, really brilliantly, she's going to get a bit more involved in doing a couple of regular slots for the channel, I hope. That's going to work really well. And over on Patreon, my kids, Martha and Adam, John, Rita, in their different ways, are all going to be helping me to do some fun things over on Patreon as well. And so there'll be some good stuff coming there, which I'm going to talk about over on Patreon a bit later on. That's going to be good. And so whatever kind of new year you have, whether it involves fireworks, staying up late with a lot of friends, or whether it involves going to bed early like I'm going to do, Happy New Year, and I'll see you guys in 2020. Thank you all for your fantastic support in 2019, and I'll see you on the other side. I'm going to stay here now for a bit and do a bit of knitting now that Norma's settled. So thanks so much, guys, and I'll see you next year.